Let's come to the final topic under teaching aptitude, which is learning. It is a really important topic. It is long, and a lot of questions have come from this particular topic. So let's dive deep into it. We've completed teaching basics and concepts. I've told you about concept of teaching, teaching theories. You've learned about Bloom's classification, and I feel these are now familiar to you. Next, we've completed objective of teaching as well, where I've focused on effective teaching practices, teaching methods, and learner-centered teaching. Some of this you can do from the notes, but if you feel a video is required, then please add it in the comments below and I'll create videos on these as well. From here, there is a topic that I'm going to create a separate video about, and we're going to do this after I finish learning. So let's come to learning. Under learning, and for today's video, I'll focus on learning characteristics, and the rest will be on other videos. So let's go to learning characteristics. Under learning characteristics, these are the kind of questions that you can expect to come, which are key terms, scenario based. We'll go with the questions at the end of the video, but for now, you can just expect questions like what is probing, or what is imitation, or what is instruction, how does it differ from teaching. So questions like this. So I cannot say directly from this particular topic these kind of questions will come, because they're usually scenario based or key term based. But learning about this will give you a better perspective on answering the questions. So let's quickly understand what do these terms mean. Imitation. Imitation is basically learning involves observing and replicating the actions, behavior, or skills of others. And this is usually done by school children when they imitate behaviors of teachers or imitate behaviors of their peers. Teaching is basically imparting knowledge, what teachers do, sharing expertise, and guiding learning experience for others. Teachers, instruction, and mentors play a crucial role here. Next is reflection. Reflection is basically you are self observing yourself, looking at your own thoughts and experiences, which helps to deepen understanding and promote personal growth. So you're just asking yourself, what went wrong? Where could I have improved? So thoughts like this, that is internal. Next is observation. Observation learning occurs when individuals acquire knowledge, skills, or understanding by actively observing and attentively watching others. Like children look at their parents. If the parents are book readers, then most often than not, the kids are also book readers. So, this is how you observe and you conduct your behavior based on observing others. Next is trial and error. Like if you're learning cycling, you try, you fail, you try again, and then you kind of get a hang on how to balance it. So, this is trial and error. Experimentation. Whenever we were a kid, we would always play around with mud, try to experiment it, sculpt different figures. So, you are experimenting with different things. As you go older, you get formulas to use it in different scenarios. You learn about percentages. So, you experiment and then you put this across different areas in your life. Next is experience. As you grow older, you learn through different and direct personal experiences, encounters, or interactions with the environment. So you experience based on how you move in life. Next is instructions. Instructions are specific, explicit guidance, direction, or teaching from others. So, three key words that you have to learn, which is explicit, guidance, and direction. Next is probing. When teachers ask you, but why do you think that happened? But why is the poet maybe thinking about these aspects? That's basically to help you improve your critical thinking by asking you different questions and helping you come to a conclusion. So, these are the different types of learning characteristics. Next, under learning characteristics, we have motivated classroom features and conditions of learning. So, these again, you can expect scenario based questions and not direct questions from this topic. Also, be prepared for mixed scenario based questions. You might get few from motivated classroom features, which is then mixed with effective teaching behavior or mixed with characteristics of learning or learners. So, be prepared for everything. First is belongingness, which is feeling part of a group, post motivation and engagement. So, group projects are a really good idea. Meaningfulness, being able to find the learning material relevant, which increases motivation, such as relating math to everyday budgeting, coming up with percentages. Competence, having confidence that drives motivation. So, this is a very important characteristics where a kid who is told who is good in maths by their teachers, by professors, believes in the feeling that I'm good in maths, keeps improving to be better and better, and that circle keeps growing on in his life. So, competence. Next, accountability. Responsibility enhances ownership of learning. So, this is my responsibility to learn. It helps me grow, it helps my brain grow. So, having that accountability to choose. Next is autonomy. Choice in learning fuels engagement. There are few kids who love humanities, some love science, others are more towards commerce, some love computer as a elective, some prefer economics. So having that autonomy to choose enhances learning. Next, we have conditions for learning. Continuity is a principle that learning occurs when stimuli and responses are experienced together. For example, if you're teaching a kid who is in class 3 and teaching them about the shoot system, then you go out and then you show them what a flower is, and then from there, what are the stems. So, continuity, where stimulus and response are experienced together. Next, we have reinforcements, and reinforcement can be both positive and negative reinforcement. Where positive reinforcement is like teacher giving a student a sticker every time he completes the homework, and negative reinforcement is like reducing the amount of homework when a student consistently performs. So, negative reinforcement is not punishment and is different from that. It is removing the negative stimulus. Next is feedback, and this is very important, where the information is provided to learners about their performance and understanding, like what went well, what they can improve on, and this is very important. Next, we have practice, where a student repeatedly is exposed to or engaged with a task. Next is generalization and discrimination. Generalization is when a student is able to apply a particular concept through different areas in their life. Discrimination is when a student is able to differentiate between two different stimulus while learning and when what is applicable. So, again, what I want you to do is learn the key term, learn what it means. You don't have to learn under motivated classroom features, what are the different aspects, under conditions of learning, what are the different aspects. No, learn the key term and then learn what it means. Okay? Because you will get only scenario based questions. You will not get questions like under motivated classroom, what are the different characteristics, and even if you get, they may not be the same because everybody has their own style of creating notes. So just be wary of the positive key terms under motivated classroom. Next, we have the learning type, and this is a super important topic. I've seen a couple of questions that were asked in 2023 December shift. So make sure that you learn the key term and the definition and when they can be applied. So the first is observational learning. Let me come to the definition. Observational learning is also known as social learning or modeling and is the process of learning behavior by observing. Key term that you have to be wary of: observing and imitating others. So the process involved under observational learning is first attention, where paying attention to the model, what is happening. Next is retention, remembering what was retained. For example, a parent reads book and every day goes to bed, so the child observes the behavior that okay, the father is reading the book and going to bed. Next, they are retaining that oh, I remembered yesterday father read a book and went to bed. Next is reproduction. Let me also read a book and go to bed. Then finally, motivation. The father congratulates the kid for reading a book before going to bed. So you are motivated and it keeps forming a circle towards good behavior. Next, we have social learning. Social learning emphasizes the importance of observing, modeling, and imitating the behavior, attitude, emotional reaction of others in a social situation. So, observational learning is a part of social learning, specifically focused on learning through observation, looking at figures of influence, whereas social learning includes not only observation but also influence of social context and cues and cognitive processes on how individuals learn from environment. This was first developed by Albert Bandura and it emphasizes the role of social interaction in learning. The key concepts are modeling, where you demonstrate a behavior for others to observe and learn. For example, if everyone in your family speaks English or if they speak Hindi or Nepali, then you're most likely to speak that language as well. Vicarious reinforcement, learning through the consequences of others' action. Let's say from your group this person does debate and does very good debate, even the teachers praise, so based on his reinforcement about how others are praising him, the rest of the members in the group also tend to follow the same. Okay, debate is good, debate gives you praises, so I will do debate. Third, we have moral learning. Moral learning is acquiring values, principles, and behavior that align with the societal standard of what is right and wrong. Here we have three key terms. One is moral reasoning, understanding the principles behind moral choices. For example, Pooja returns a wallet found in the ground because she believes it is the right thing to do to give back the wallet. So, honesty. Next, moral behavior, acting according to the moral principles. For example, Tenzing and his group of friends help stop bullying because he knows bullying is bad. Next, moral emotions, feeling like guilt, shame, and empathy that reinforces moral behavior. Rashmi feels guilty after lying. For example, the parents have asked Rashmi to read a book, but instead she watches TV. So she feels guilty about that fact. So, feeling like guilt, shame, and empathy that reinforce moral behavior. This is moral learning. Next, we have classical conditioning, and Pavlov's is a very famous example. So it involves a neutral stimulus becomes associated with a meaningful stimulus, leading to conditioned response. For example, some kids have a habit that immediately after getting up they will revise. So getting up is a neutral stimulus, and the reaction, the conditioned response is reading a book. So this is classical conditioning. Next, we have cognitive learning. This is basically reading from notes, textbooks, directly understanding the different theories. So, learning involves mental processes such as attention, memory, and problem solving. When you're doing maths, a lot of school learning is cognitive learning. So, very easy. Next, we have, I think I messed up with the, yeah, I think I messed up with the numbers, but don't worry. Next, we have operant conditioning, a type of learning where behavior is controlled by consequences involving reward and punishment. This is developed by B.F. Skinner. So, reinforcement, when you do something good, then a teacher gives you a star, or when you get 100%, then it is positive reinforcement. A parent decides to buy you a new phone because you did very well in your boards, that is positive reinforcement. And negative reinforcement means removing a negative stimulus. For example, a parent gives you less study time and more play time because you have been consistent with your marks. Now we have punishment, positive and negative. Positive punishment is like adding extra chores for bad behavior, reducing the likelihood it will happen again. And negative punishment is like taking away TV time for misbehavior, decreasing the chance of behavior repeating again. Next, we have the final topic under learning characteristics, which is cooperative learning strategies. And this is a very important topic from which you can expect at least one to two questions, because I've seen a couple of questions that have come in 2023 December shift and 2023 June shift. So, based on this, I'm guessing it might come in 2024 as well. First, we have round robin cooperative strategy, which is basically a structured discussion format where each student in a group takes turn to share their ideas, answer, and solution. So a particular topic is there, and each student is given the option to discuss. It's basically like brainstorming, where the student is given complete freedom and there is no bad idea. Next, we have group investigation cooperative learning strategy. A cooperative learning strategy where students work together to investigate a topic, conduct research, and project their findings, like group projects where we come together and come up with a solution. Next, we have Jigsaw cooperative learning strategy, where students are divided into groups. Each member of the group is responsible for learning and teaching. So let's say you have four friends and you're learning about learning characteristics. So each of them take a particular topic about learning characteristics. For example, she can take about motivated classroom learning. This person can take about effective classroom behavior. Third person can take about cooperative learning strategy, and this can take about instructional facilities. So each of them take a particular topic and teach each other. Next, we have Think, Pair, Share cooperative learning strategy, where a collaborative learning strategy that encourages individual thinking followed by discussion with a partner and sharing them with the larger group. So you individually think, you share among each other, take in each other's perspective, and then finally share with a larger group. Number heads together cooperative learning strategy, a strategy where students in group are assigned numbers. They work together to ensure all group members understand the material, followed by a random selection, and the entire group is based on who is presenting it. So everybody gets a random number, they all discuss, everybody gets equal opportunity, and randomly a particular number is chosen, and that person has to present the thoughts of the entire group. This helps with especially shy students who don't like to come forward and speak. Next, we have Fishbowl cooperative learning strategy. The Fishbowl strategy is a cooperative learning technique where students are divided into two circles, inner circle and outer circle, where inner circle engages in a discussion on a given topic, whereas the outer circle just listens. And then you switch the role. The outer person becomes the inner and shares, and the inner person becomes outer and then listens. Finally, we have the last topic under cooperative learning strategy, that is Snowball cooperative learning strategy, where this technique involves a gradual expansion of discussion groups. It starts with pair of students discussing a topic and then merging with another pair to form a group. So these three people first discuss a particular topic, and then finally they join this, and then all of them discuss a particular topic. That way more thoughts and conversations are exchanged, so that this group is learning from this group and this group is learning from that group. All right, we've completed learning characteristics. Let's do some flashcards and then move on to do the MCQs. These are the notes for it. So, flashcards, classical conditioning. What was it? A type of learning where a neural stimulus becomes associated with a meaningful stimulus. Pavlov's, and the example I had given in the video was like in the morning, someone immediately gets up and reads. A type of learning where a neural stimulus becomes associated with a meaningful stimulus leading to conditioned response. Operant conditioning. A type of learning where behavior is controlled by consequences, reward, and punishment. And I'd given an example of positive reinforcements like giving a star if done correct, negative reinforcement like giving less homework if they are consistent with their work. So operant conditioning, perfect. Round robin cooperative learning strategy, a structured discussion format where each student in a group takes turn to share their ideas, answers a solution like brainstorm. Group investigation cooperative learning strategy, a cooperative learning strategy where students work together to investigate a topic, conduct research, and present their finding. I'd give an example of project work. Correct. Jigsaw cooperative learning strategy. I think I'm kind of forgetting this, so let's see the answer. are divided into groups. Oh yeah, learning from each other. This was the example I'd given. So let's quickly remember this. A strategy where students are divided into groups and each member of the group is responsible for learning and teaching. I'd given the example of learning characteristics and how each student can teach each other. So let's do perfect for this one. Think, pair, share, cooperative learning strategy, where you have first individual thinking and you are partnered and then you share with a bigger group. So this is correct. Alright, you can complete the rest of the flashcards yourself for remembrance. Let's go to MCQs. Learning is a lifelong process. Learning to be useful must be linked with life processes. Learning, yes, that is correct. Learning to be useful must be, that is also correct, but it is not the correct because it's not that, right? So option B, both are true, but R is not the correct explanation. Perfect. Some students in class exhibit great curiosity for learning. It may be because such children are gifted, come from rich families, show artificial behavior, create indiscipline. Sometimes these questions can be very random. So from here, the best answer I feel are gifted, because rich family, artificial behavior, create indiscipline. Definitely no. So yeah, perfect. Identify the important element a teacher has to take cognizance of while addressing students in a classroom. Avoidance of proximity, this is definitely no. Voice modulation, yes, correct. You have to be able to modulate your voice so that topics get interesting. Repetitive pauses, pauses are important but not repetitively. Fixed posture is definitely wrong, so voice modulation seems like the correct answer, and this had come in 2016. Perfect. Approach to teaching means teaching should be forceful and effective. Definitely no. Teachers should be energetic and dynamic. Yes, but let's read the other options as well. The topics of teaching should not be static. This is incorrect. The student should be required to learn through activities. So you can get confused between this two, but this is more of a teacher behavior rather than teaching. So we can choose option D, should be required to learn through activities. And perfect. The learning in which a new behavior is acquired but is not demonstrated unless reinforcement is provided is known as observational learning. Is more to do with observing and imitating others, and social learning is also similar. So reinforcement can be important but not necessary. Moral learning is also very similar, where it's more to do with societal moral aspect. And finally we come to latent learning. I know this was not discussed, so I'm going to quickly add in the notes as well. But latent learning is the subconscious retention of information without reinforcement or motivation. In latent learning, one changes behavior only when there's a sufficient motivation later than when subconsciously retain the information. So people or animal only change their behavior when there is enough motivation later. That's why it's not demonstrated, because it's in subconscious unless reinforcement is provided. So latent learning is correct. Given below are two statements. Statement 1, in round robin cooperative learning strategy, students work together to achieve a common goal or complete a task. Is this correct or no? No, this is incorrect. Round robin is a structured discussion format where each student in a group takes turn to share their ideas, answers, or solution sequentially. So this is incorrect. Next, in group investigation, cooperative learning, students take turn sharing. Oh, okay, they've mixed these two up. So round robin is student taking turn and group investigation is working together. So both statements are incorrect. They've just switched it up. Perfect. In which strategy of cooperative learning, students are separated to an inner and outer circle? Inner and outer circle, fishbowl. Easy. Perfect. Which of the following are elements of observational learning? Production, yes. Attention, yes. Identification, no. Retention, yes. And E, motivation. So this is directly from the notes itself. So A, B, D, E. This is correct. Let's submit. Perfect. Yay, we're done with MCQs and we're done with learning characteristics. Now we'll do learning environment. types of learners, adolescent, evaluation, higher education in India, and instructional facilities in the upcoming videos.